Inspiration birth desires that activates motivation, that create movement, that builds momentum. Execution equals accomplished goals. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If you're watching this later, then give me maybe about 60 seconds or so before I get started to see if we're going to have a few individuals to tune in so I can get straight to the point, express the point, and let you all continue on your day. I don't want to take too much of your time. Actually, I don't have much time, so yeah. All right, so I hope you guys are good. I hope everything is lovely. I hope your family is well. I hope life is treating you grand in light of today's reality that we are living in. So, in the midst of all that, we still have a work to do. We still have a responsibility, and we still have goals to accomplish. We still have life to live. So, with that being said, let's get this thing started. So earlier, let me be clear with this. I'm not one who goes on social media and see what everybody want and for one begin to envy, two start this comparison game. It's a thief of joy in every aspect of it. So I'm not one to do that. I hope that you are not, and if you are, it's time to change that and start looking at it as inspiration. Inspiration from the effect of, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. If it was possible for them, it's possible for me. All right? That eliminates the comparison. That just basically letting you know, it's helping you to, one, believe in yourself, and then also take action. All right? So, when you see something on social media or see quote unquote lifestyle that someone is showing, whether on social media or you hear someone talking about it or you just see it like maybe physically and it's like, man, I would love to have that. Be careful with that, because what you may desire to have something or desire to have a lifestyle that's for them. You may begin to get on this journey, and if you do begin to have this lifestyle or basically be a replica of someone else, you can find unhappiness there because it looked good on the outside. Now you want to internalize this and make it yours, and that may not be for you. The journey that it took them, the journey they took to get there, the hell they went through, everything, you might not be about that life. In fact, that might not even, one, may not even be the life that God have for you, and two, you may begin to go through things that God did not plan for you to go through. So be careful about desiring what others have. All right, most importantly. Now, look at it as, receive it as inspiration. So inspiration, birth, desires. So with that means you might need to be exposed to something more than what your norm is. You may need to be exposed to more. You know what I'm saying? In fact, you probably need to be exposed to the right thing. So when you have the desire, it is connected to one, who you are, and when it's connected to who you are, it's an internal thing. It's a possibility that that is what God have for you, see for you. That is according to His plan, right? So inspiration birth desires, and that desire activate motivation. Now, motivation is very. We had about something about motivation. Motivation fades. Motivation fades. 1 minute you could be motivated, the next hour you may not be. It's up and down. Like it's up and down. That's just what it is. So with motivation, you have to act on it. You have to act on when you feel motivated. You have to act on it. That means you might not need to go and tell the world, because by the time you tell your mom, by the time you get to telling people, you won't have the energy to execute on it. You won't have the energy to move on it, because all the energy, the excitement, and everything, you have given it to everyone else. So it's like now when it's time for you to execute, it's like you don't have that drive anymore. Like you don't have the energy for it anymore. You get what I'm saying? And I'm speaking from personal experience. So I always say like energy will cost you. Energy will cost you. So make sure you putting that energy in what you are trying to create, build, or accomplish, instead of telling everybody, because like that motivation gonna fade. So inspiration birth desire, which activates motivation, and that motivation, it creates your movement. Motivation creates the movement that you need. So again, instead of telling the world, move. Like, take action. In other words, when you feel that motivation and you know what to do, even if it's writing it down, because even if it's writing it down, if you already have it down, you start brainstorming, you start seeing the, like, they will continue to flow. They will continue to flow. So like, it creates movement, but it then also builds momentum. So when that motivation fade, because you started moving, you have some type of traction. You have some type of momentum. It's which is also important, because when that motivation fade, because you took action, now you have movement. You already in progress. You making things happen. You don't need the feeling of motivation. Motivation helps us to get started, right? So when we begin to build momentum, and because we are in action, we doing what we know what we're supposed to do. Like, it's not necessary for us to be motivated. It's easier to be disciplined to continue to show up when we have traction. Now we done build the momentum. Makes sense? So as we continue on doing this, somewhere in this process, you will begin to get motivated again. You will begin to get motivated to complete, but you have to know what goals are. But you have to know what goals are. You have to know what you're striving for. You have to know what it looks like. So you have to have a plan that's going to get you from point A to point B. Basically, where you are, to your destination, which is the accomplishment of your goals. And that's it. Today's Sunday. For some, when we get off track, it's kind of hard to get back there. For some, it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna like start back over next week. Or at the beginning of the week. Well, today is Sunday. Today is the beginning of next week. So take this time, once you get everything done, take this time to have a seat without social media, without whatever the distractions are, and sit. I would say sit in the place, sit in that place. Continue to visualize and brainstorm as you do that. More continue to write those things down, and then think about what's the next step, and then whether it's today or tomorrow, take action. Remember, no longer be on social media playing a comparison game and looking at everybody else's life and looking down on yours, but be inspired. Be inspired, because inspiration birth desire, that activates motivation, then creates movement. It builds momentum, and when you execute to completion, you will accomplish your goals. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Share this, and until we meet next time, much love. Peace.